everyone. Welcome to the Film for Fans podcast, the podcast from movie fans for movie fans. I am your host, Ryan Dunlevy. That is my co-host, Rob Dunham.
Evening.
Yes, we are back. We took a schedule-laden 4th of July week off from the podcast. However, we are back, and we're better than ever, as always.
Of course. We're always better than ever.
Yes, for sure. And we've got an excellent show for you. We will be talking about the box office. We'll talk about a couple of movies coming out this coming week. And our discussion for the week will resume our series of anniversary movies. So today we're going to be discussing movies turning 20 this year. Yes, there are movies turning 20 this year, and they're from 2005.
Huh.
Yeah.
That seems wrong.
That seems wrong for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we will be discussing movies from 2005, and we'll have our best list. And I think it's going to be fun because, as Rob hinted at when we were texting off air, our lists are probably going to be very different.
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting year in 2005 for the box office. And then we will conclude with our watch list, movies we've watched over the last week. We ready to get started, Rob?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, July 4th weekend. The number one movie in the country was, it's a surprise for nobody, Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth did $92 million over the weekend. It did have, over the larger holiday season, it did $147.8 million. A very good showing for Jurassic World Rebirth. So that came in at number one. Number two, in its second week in the box office, was F1. The movie did $25.7 million. That was a 54.8% drop from week one to week two. So right along the average line there. Its 2-week total is $109 million domestically. How to Train Your Dragon did $11.2 million in its fourth week in the box office. That movie has pulled down $224 million. Number 4 in the box office was Elio, and that did $5.7 million in its third week. It has a total of $55 million. And number 5 for the second week in a row is 28 Years Later, did $4.5 million in its third week. That movie is up over $60 million. And so I think we have an interesting top 5. 4 movies that are doing quite well and 1 movie that's probably a disappointment.
Yeah. Which one is most disappointing?
I think Elio.
Yeah.
I think all the other ones have to be pleased with their results.
Mm-hmm. And for Jurassic World too, that movie is over $315 million globally in its opening weekend.
Yeah.
So it is on track to break $1 billion worldwide by the time.
I saw a stat that I saw it a couple of different places, and I really I was almost staggered to believe it. Is with the success of Jurassic World Rebirth, Scarlett Johansson is now the number 1 all-time box office champion for money made.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because really it wouldn't have happened without Wes Anderson. So I just wanted to give Wes Anderson credit for Asteroid City, getting Scarlett Johansson's name and face out there, allowing her to be seen, by the general public. And Taika Waititi also for Jojo Rabbit. These movies clearly are what propelled Scarlett Johansson to this record. Definitely not the Avengers movies or Black Widow or anything like that. No, it's the smaller movies are the ones that really, pushed you over the edge and matter the most. Yeah. Also, Lost in Translation. Shout out Bill Murray. All these important Scarlett Johansson movies. Without them, she would not have this record. So, they're all important cogs in the wheel.
Yes.
And
there's a couple of.
Also, let's not forget the Phoenician Scheme, which just came out.
Yes.
Well, so
there are a couple. We were talking later about 2005 movies. Scarlett Johansson had a number of movies out in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
None of them, I think, made my final top 10 list, but there were some decent movies. Overall, the box office finished up 22% this holiday weekend over the previous weekend. So good week all around for the box office and really stellar results. And I think this is just it was a successful 4th of July weekend for the box office. I think there was a lot of stuff that people wanted to see that were in there, which is always good.
Yeah, I went to 3 movies last week, so you're welcome, Hollywood. Um, yeah.
Did you which did you see any of the top five?
I saw F1. I saw 28 Years Later, and I saw a movie that's not in the top five for a good reason. Megan 2.0. Megan 2.0 failed spectacularly, and
Ah,
can talk about that in my in the watch list segment when we get there.
yeah. Okay. So that's last week's box office results. This week we have another big movie coming out, and that is Superman. Superman rated PG-13, runtime of 2 hours and 9 minutes. We have a relative newcomer playing Superman. David Corn Sweat will play Superman. Rachel Brosnahan is in this, and Nicholas Hoult will play Lex Luthor. The plot line here is Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent. As the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way, he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old fashioned. James Gunn directs, and Will can come back and talk about that. I will. Let's do the other one first. So that's the main one, but we do have a smaller release. Skill House, not rated, 1 hour 39 minutes, starring Neil McDonough and 50 Cent. A dark satire of social media and influencer culture unflinchingly takes on fame and what new celebrities are willing to do to attain it. Seems like like a satire slash horror
Mm-hmm.
type deal. Um, yeah. What do you what is your thoughts on Superman?
James Gunn saves DC? Question mark.
James Gunn movie saves DC. James Gunn opening his mouth, not so much. James Gunn
uh,
trying to sabotage his own movie before it comes out. James Gunn, or yeah,
yeah, I mean, this movie is being advertised everywhere.
yes,
Dairy Queen has Superman blizzards. Like, there's all these things that are being tied into this movie, and I think people want to see Superman succeed. Very interesting that they're going with an unknown actor as Superman. I could see that either being a big positive or negative.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I so I'm gonna say that I think this movie is gonna make like $120 million over the weekend.
okay,
I think that there is a strong desire from people who like the Superman character to see a good Superman movie, and despite what the director might have said about it recently, I am led to believe by what I've seen of it so far and what we've been shown that it's
mm-hmm.
going to be a good movie.
Yeah,
It's going to be better than any of the DC superhero movies to this point. I'm almost positive. Just in the trailers alone, it looks like it has more heart and more soul and more depth to it than anything else they've done, like recently. We throw out the Christopher Nolan movies, um, but anything in the modern universe, I don't think looks like it is as real as what this appears to be.
yeah.
So the question is, are people going to get past their fatigue with the disappointments in the last 10 years of DC and go to this movie. And I think they are, but I could be wrong, but that's my prediction.
Yeah, and I think that's if we're talking about James Gunn, I think James Gunn probably delivered a really good movie. Like I think this is going to be a good movie, which is why it makes no sense to me that he would just open up his mouth and say dumb things about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't hear, he basically said, "Yes, this movie is about politics," and to which case everybody else goes like, "Really, dude?" That's worked out so well for every other director who said their movie is explicitly about politics because that hasn't tanked any movies at all. So I think to me, it sounds like a guy who's trying to retcon something to gain credibility with his friends more so than a reflection of actually the art he put out. At least that's my hope. So I think the movie is going to be. I think the movie is going to be good. I think it's going to be solid. It remains to be seen. I think one of the things that Hollywood struggles with is the Superman character comes out of an era that I think Hollywood doesn't understand. And so they tend to constantly get the Superman character and his motives wrong. And they constantly try to modernize him. And I will be interested to see if James Gunn manages to not fall into that trap.
Yeah, we're still over here waiting for Smallville the movie. So
Yeah, for sure. uh yeah, the Brennan Routh version, I'm just like, why did you do that? Like you had yeah. The Brennan Routh could have been the Smallville movie. Like that movie
yeah,
they could have just done that.
I will say that I think I'm very intrigued by and hopeful of Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I like Nicholas Holt. I think he's a good actor.
The one thing that I'm concerned about with the trailers is that there are clearly several villains and several positive characters introduced all in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen before, Spider-Man 3, that can go bad sometimes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Because you don't want to make it so confusing that people can't follow what's happening and who the most important bad guy is.
Yeah. I in terms of box office number, you said about 120.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm leaning more towards 90.
Okay.
Now, that would probably be disappointing for them. I think they're hoping for well over 100 million for it. Um, I don't think 90 is a bad showing, but I think it would be on the disappointing end. But yeah, I mean, I'm planning on seeing it, so I think I have hopes for the movie. That's what I will say. I have hopes for it.
Mm.
I don't know
Yeah,
that I have great expectations, but I have hopes for it.
I need to find a way to see this and Jurassic World at some
I
point.
know. I know. I still haven't seen Jurassic World either. All right. Well, that's the box office for this week. Make sure you go check it out. There's lots of good stuff out there right now. And now we will turn to our discussion. I personally like these anniversary things because it's a good opportunity to reflect on specific eras of movies. And 2005 movies turning 20 this year. So that brings us back to 2005. 2005 was a really interesting year when it comes to movies. And we talked about this a little bit off air. Just give me your general sense of and looking over all of the movies that came out that year in preparation for this. Um, by the way, I didn't say it. We're going to give each of us are going to give our top 10 movies from 2005, 20 years on. But as you were digging into it, what was your general sense of the year that was 2005 in terms of movies?
So there is a lot. There are a lot of movies that are good but not great. That came out in 2005. A lot of movies that are very much like personal preference. I love this movie or I hate this movie kind of
Mm-hmm.
movies.
Yeah.
A lot of movies that I would say are like they would fall under guilty pleasure
Yeah.
type movies. I have a few of those on my top 10 list.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of movies that I just like that I liked from 2005. In fact, I have 23 movies.
My list is not that dissimilar, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we will not
Um,
do 23. We'll do like 4 or 5 honorable
yeah.
mentions in our
So
top
I do have
10.
the top 10, but I have a lot that I was like. And then the other thing is, there are movies outside of my top 10 that probably deserve to be in the top 10,
Mm,
but they're only not because of my personal preference. And there are a couple of them that I really, really like.
yeah.
And there are a couple in my top 10 that you're going to think I'm crazy for because I just like them. And there are a couple of them that people cannot stand. And I just, I like them. So they're in my top 10. So deal with it.
Um, it's interesting to me because I think this was like kind of a almost golden era of comedy movies, like fun entertainment comedy movies. There's so many of my list is full of like comedy movies that are objectively not great movies, but they're fun movies. I enjoy them. I have specific memories around these particular movies, and they held kind of a fondness, a sentimentality to them, even though objectively I know they're not great movies. And I was tempted to put more of them in my top 10 because I view them fondly. And it's interesting because I went a little bit more objectively on this list than sometimes I do. I didn't go for quite as much for sentimentality, but a number of the movies, especially in my honorable mentions, will certainly be like those mostly comedy ones that are personal favorites that I know just are like they're just fun movies. They're not good movies.
Yeah. I'm making this list. I saw a lot of movies. I'm like, I want to go watch that right now. Like, I haven't seen that in a while. I want to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let me just give you a little bit of background on 2005. The top 5 movies in the box office that year were Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, did $380 million. Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe did $291 million. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, 290. War of the Worlds did 234. And King Kong did 218. And I'll throw out a sixth one because Wedding Crashers made $209 million.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? First of all, can you imagine
But
a
one of these
comedy
things
movie?
is not like the others.
Can you imagine a comedy movie just in general, like any comedy movie whatsoever, then a comedy movie that made $209 million?
Yeah.
It made more money than Batman Begins.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy towns. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into well, no, sorry. I'll delay again. We're not getting into our list yet. Let me give you the box off or the Oscars for this one. The top movie of the year was, if I'm no, the top movie of the year was why is this not coming? Best Picture, Crash. As I remembered, it was Crash. Yes, Crash won for best film, and the director was Ang Lee for Brokeback Mountain. The actress in a supporting role was Rachel Weisz for The Constant Gardener. Actress in a leading role was Reese Witherspoon for Walk the Line. Actor in a supporting role was George Clooney for Syriana. And actor in a leading role was Philip Seymour Hoffman for Capote. So those are your Oscar winners for the year. Now, I have nothing else. We will get to our list now. Let's start with our honorable mentions. Read off, give me like 5 honorable mentions, and we don't have to talk a ton about these because we got a lot on the list. But give me your 5 honorable mentions.
All right. We'll start with Wedding Crashers because you already mentioned it. I made you a painting. Thanks, Todd. Bradley Cooper's character in this movie is also amazing, considering what Bradley Cooper ended up being.
Well, it's funny because I actually did not like Bradley Cooper for years because of his role in this movie. He was just such a jerk.
It's called acting, Ryan.
I know. It's just one of the like roles stick with you sometimes.
Yeah. In a similar vein, Kicking and Screaming is on my honorable mentions list. Your Name is Liar because you tell lies. Um, that movie's so great. Um, Be Cool.
Mm,
Be Cool. Honorable mention.
yeah.
Sin City. An honorable mention for me. And my highest honorable mention, which I feel like is going to be in your top 10, and very much, oh, man, I struggle with not putting this in the top 10 because I have movies above it that are objectively not as good, but like I just like them. Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Ah,
uh,
yes.
top honorable mention.
Hmm.
But it's a great movie. Like I love that movie. It's just there's two other movies, and some of them are stupid that I like that I put above it. So
Yeah. And what's cool about these comedies is that they're all very quotable. And I could have put any one of these in the honorable mentions because of it. So my honorable mentions are Be Cool. The Rock's character in that one. Maybe try, singing a man's song.
yeah,
Dabo, what's with the finger? Yeah. It's really funny movie. Be Cool, Just Friends,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
another
Just Friends
fantastic
was
comedy.
on was on my extended honorable mentions list.
Yeah. In Good Company, which is kind of a comedy drama, starring Topher Grace. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which actually I really was close to getting that one in, but I didn't quite do it. And then my fifth one is Into the Blue, which is not a comedy, but that movie, if you watch that movie, like the underwater shots and just the island cinematography is really really awesome in that movie. You get some great views of the Bahamas, and the underwater scenes there are really cool.
Yeah, and I would say just backtracking a little bit, Mr. and Mrs. Smith might have an argument for being the best movie based around two characters.
Mm.
Like as far as an action movie goes, it's just very well executed.
It's
It's
probably
really,
most known as the movie that broke up Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt, but as he then moved on to Angelina Jolie at that point.
yep.
But yeah, it's kind of like the perfect blend of action and comedy. It's kind of a romantic action comedy, and it's a really cool mashup of genres. All right, give me we'll do three. Give me 10, 9, 8.
All right, 10 and 9 are we're gonna label this the other people hate them, but I love them section of my list. And so many people hate this movie, but I will die on the hill that I like it because I like every version of it, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. And it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp because I love Johnny Depp's absolute insanity in this role. Like I can understand hating it because he plays it to the absolute max. And if you're not in with him on that, you're not gonna like it. But I was in with him on that, and I liked it.
I saw that movie. I have like virtually no memory of any of it.
Yeah,
I
I
did. I
like
saw it.
my favorite line from it. He says, "You can eat anything here except for people because that is considered cannibalism, children, and is frowned upon in most countries." Um, Number 9 for me, also a movie that gets a lot of hate from some people, but might be one of my favorite superhero slash comic book movies of all time. Constantine with Keanu
Mm.
Reeves.
Hmm. I figured
Uh,
this would be on your list.
yeah, the version of Satan in this movie is my favorite portrayal of the of Satan in any movie.
Mm.
Uh, uh, because it does a great job of portraying the idea of an angel of light that also is complete darkness.
Mm.
And it's really well done. The whole idea of descending into hell to rescue someone is just I like Constantine a lot, and I think Keanu Reeves was really the best person to play the character, because you don't like the character of Constantine can't be like a super emotional, like he's got to be like Keanu Reeves played it, I think.
Is there anybody who understands who he is as an actor and does a better job of picking roles that suit him to the max than Keanu?
Yeah, probably not.
Seriously, it's amazing.
Yeah. My number eight is Chicken Little. It is my opinion as a highly underrated animated movie. Um, Zach Braff plays Chicken Little, I believe, if I recall correctly. And just the whole humor of it is funny. It's cute. It's a great family movie. My kids like it. I like it. Everybody should like it. So go watch Chicken Little because it is a very underrated, under exposed animated movie. Um, it's got a unique kind of animation style that it's like computer animated, but it's got some classic animation feel to it. And I just really like that movie a lot, Chicken Little.
Nice. Interesting. Uh, so I have uh, for my 10, 9, and 8, I have two romantic slash regular comedies and one that's very different. My number 10 is Wedding Crashers. And this was kind of like the heyday of the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, Will Ferrell. Like this was their era. And this might be this or Dodgeball might be the two best examples of that comedy. I don't know how many you would consider. Probably Ben Stiller's in there too, along with those guys. But that team of comedic actors, this was probably their heyday, and Wedding Crashers is one of the best examples of it. Obviously, has has a lot of wrong stuff in it, but it is so funny, and it spawned so many interesting rules and takes and quotes. And there is actually the nice thing about Wedding Crashers is there is actually a heart to it. There is actually like actual characters that actually connect to one another and drama around that. But it's really funny.
Yeah,
So
I will never look at Dr. Quinn the same after that movie.
indeed.
Kitty cat.
Gosh. there's so much in that movie. Oh gosh. Like they would never, this is a perfect example of like comedy like this just would not and will not get made in Hollywood these days. Like you're just not going to make that. Number 9 for me is Hitch with Will Smith and Kevin James. Kevin James,
Yep.
yes. Will Smith, Kevin James, Eva Mendes. I think if you're talking about this was kind of like a movie that was on the tail end of the heyday of the romantic comedies. Like if you're talking about the romantic comedies, I would put the heyday about like 1991 to like 2008 or 2009. It was kind of the heyday of the romantic comedy. And this might be up there on this. I have to think this through a little bit more, but it might be up on the Mount Rushmore of romantic comedies in terms of it was really well done. The acting is excellent. The actors play the roles really well. Hits all the standard romantic comedy tropes, but it does so in a humorous and a fun manner. And I like the comedy team of Will Smith and Kevin James work really, really well together. And there's just some great moments. Like Kevin James' physical comedy is off the charts. And his like the bathroom scene where he's spilling water on his pants and nearly walks out in his underwear, like just stuff like that. It's just amazing. It's so good. It's one that I come back to on a regular basis because it's a favorite. Number 8 for me, the very different one, Lord of War. Lord of War is starring Nicolas Cage and what's his name?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Thank you. I don't know why I do this. Like I blank out on names in the middle of reading this. Jared Leto. And it's about an arms merchant, a Russian arms merchant operating in the US who takes full advantage of the fall of the Soviet Union, shall we say, to distribute arms all over the place. It was a really, really fascinating movie at the time, including like a really, really powerful opening sequence that goes through the life of a bullet. And it
Yeah,
was
maybe my favorite opening 5 minutes of a movie ever.
Yeah, really, really good. I mean, just it just encapsulates what that movie is about. Recently came back up into media parlance because the guy featured in this movie was actually the one we gave back to Russia in exchange for Brittany Griner,
Yep,
the WNBA player.
yep.
So that happened. But Lord of War features him, and this was good Nicolas Cage acting. Like this was good for Nicolas Cage. All right, moving on. Seven,
All
six,
right.
five.
My 7 and 6 are both movies that came out in 2005 but made most of their money in 2006.
Mm,
Number 7, The Incredibles.
mm.
Uh, just fantastic, fantastic movie. Brad Bird. We talked about this, I think, as recently as the last podcast. I think we talked about The Incredibles. But it made most of its money in 2006. But it came out in, I want to say November or December.
I think you got that. It made most of its money in 2005. It came out in
Okay,
2004.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, Another one, National Treasure with
Mm-hmm.
Nicolas Cage. So this is like one of my favorite, probably my favorite like uh, treasure map, hidden secret kind of movies.
Yeah.
Um, just a great story, a great plot. Um, Nicolas Cage, good actor, and Nicolas Cage appears again as my number 5, which you just mentioned, Lord of War.
Yeah.
Lord of War is just a very raw, real movie. Probably, in my opinion, of what I've seen of him, Jared Leto's best character. I know he's been in some other movies that he got a lot of acclaim for, but I thought he was great in this movie. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my 7, 6, and 5.
Nice. Seven for me is Munich. Munich is a fascinating movie about if you saw a movie that came out last year, September 5, also about the same topic. The movie Munich starts out with I think it was 1972 attack on the Israeli Olympic wrestling team. It resulted in a number of murders of the Olympic team by terrorists. Munich starts out there, but details Israel's response and how they hunted and tracked down everyone involved in that and executed them. And so it's a really fascinating movie. It's got a lot of spycraft. It's got a lot of um, you know military things. It's really good. It's a really well done movie. The I don't love the ending of it. I think they kind of messed up the ending pretty good on Munich. It's the only reason why it's not higher on my list. But it's a really fascinating movie and an interesting watch about a period of history that not a lot of people have spent a lot of time on. So Munich comes in at number 7. Number 6 for me is Star Wars Episode 3. And I recently saw this in theaters again for its 20th anniversary. And especially when compared to the sequel trilogy, these movies hold up a lot better than what they were originally panned very badly. And I actually think they were done a little bit of a disservice, especially episode 3. I really enjoyed this one and I forgot how good it was. Like there's actual narrative that ties a lot of these movies together. They had actual plots, they had storylines, and the descent of Anakin Skywalker uh, into Darth Vader. This is the culminating moments in the culminating film here. And I actually think they did a really good job with it. And number 5 for me is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Uh, for me, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is a solid film. Not one of my favorites in the series because I think there was a lot of stuff they from the book that didn't make it into the film that I think would have given this film more context. In particular, like why they had to cancel everything for this event and all this sort of stuff. So there's lots of little things in there, but it's a solid movie. All the Harry Potter films are very, very good, very well directed. And there you go. So that's my 765. All right, 4, 3, and 2, Rob.
Give me just 1 second here.
Okay.
So I realized that a few of my movies did come out in 2004 and made most of their money in 2004 and a little bit in 2005. So at the box office incorrectly. So I'm making some adjustments on the fly here.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm gonna actually we're gonna move Mr. and Mrs. Smith up to number 4 because I think it deserves to be in the top 10 and it actually came out in 2005. So we're gonna put it in there. I really do like this movie a lot. I think the action is great. I think the interplay between the characters is great. It starts out with a really clever scene of them in counseling and just kind of sets the stage for this whole madness that is about to play out. I like how they don't exactly know what's happening right away, and then when they figure it out, it's like the ultimate question of who can you trust,
Yeah.
and how. So I'm going to put that at number 4, and then we're going to say my number 4 is now number 3, and that would be Walk the Line.
Mm.
Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix. One, I don't know if it's my favorite music biopic, but it's very close. It's definitely up there. Um, he did a fantastic job transforming into Johnny Cash for this movie, and he, by all accounts, put in a ton of work to be able to look and sound like Johnny Cash. And Johnny Cash is somebody who is very important to a lot of people as a musician, as a songwriter, just as a person. So that was not an easy thing to do, I don't think, and I think he pulled that off incredibly well. I saw this one in the theater and I was just blown away by it. I remember when I saw it. And then are we giving number 2 also?
Yeah.
My number 2 would be Batman Begins. Not my favorite of the series, obviously. The Dark Knight is far and away the best movie in this series, but you don't get to the Dark Knight without setting the stage with Batman Begins, because before Batman Begins, the Batman character had been a comic book stereotype.
Yep.
Dating all the way back to the TV show and all the movies that came out in the 80s and 90s. It was very much pulp comic book material, and Christopher Nolan completely turned the character on its head. And I think it was a big risk because nobody knew really at that point if people are going to be interested in like a dark, gritty superhero.
Yeah.
And it turns out that a lot of people were waiting for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what made that so successful, and it has led to a lot of success for other superhero movies and characters since it came out. So it is literally, you cannot say this about a lot of movies, but Batman Begins is a genre-changing, defining movie.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Number 4 for me is Sin City. And it ranks high on my list for several reasons. It is a cinematic achievement. The cinematography is unbelievable. To pull out like the graphic novel look and make it look as legitimate as it did was incredible. It was really, really a masterful job of visual media telling and maintaining that. Secondly, I love the monologues. What carries this movie are all the monologues. And each character gets some long monologue that they spell out at various points. And that's really what drives the story. And the monologues are so well written. They're well acted. And it's unusual to have a movie that features that many monologues, but it works, and it works really well in this specific medium. And I thought it was a spectacular movie in terms of its achievements, in terms of the cast. Like, it's another one of those, like, has a giant cast in it, and every one of the characters stands out in some way, shape, or form. And that's hard to do in an ensemble cast movie. So what they pulled off here really was incredible. And so that's why Sin City is number 4 for me. Number 3 for me is V for Vendetta. And this is a movie I watch every year on the 5th of November because you have to. And uh, there are things I like about this movie. There are some things I don't like about it, but the character of V is an iconic character. His speaking of monologues, his V monologue to open this film is amazing. Also, there's real kind of a mysterious element to it. There's a mystery. They're trying to solve a puzzle. The side characters are really good and well acted, and particularly the policemen as they come to the revelation and the knowledge of this stuff. Natalie Portman plays an incredible role in this film. But the real standout is the V character. To be able to create an emotional character who you like, you enjoy, you ride the roller coaster with him, and he's wearing a mask the whole time with no facial expressions. So to be able to carry an emotional weight of a movie with no facial expressions available to you is a really, really remarkable acting performance by Hugo Weaving. The early 2000s where Hugo Weaving was everywhere. I mean, he was in Matrix series, he was in the Lord of the Rings series, and V for Vendetta is a standout achievement for Hugo Weaving. Number 2 for me, Kingdom of Heaven. And I did go back and forth between Kingdom of Heaven at number 1 or Kingdom of Heaven at number 2. I ultimately landed on number 2. This is an underrated film. This is another one of the Ridley Scott war films. It talks about featuring the 1100s, and it features a knight headed on the Crusades to hold Jerusalem against the Saracens, and he picks up Orlando Bloom along the way. And Orlando Bloom ends up in charge of defending Jerusalem against an attack. And it's a complex film. The character interplays are great. The acting performances, once again, are first notch. There's one thing that just always constantly bothers me about this film. Well, there's two things. One, if you watch the theatrical edition, the character of Sibylla comes off much, much worse than if you watch the director's cut of the film. The director's cut of the film makes her you understand her character far more. And so I like the director's cut better. But the idea of Orlando Bloom's character in the Kingdom of Conscience doesn't quite work out when you've already slept with the dude's wife. So, like, you just subtract that one part, and like it would totally make sense. So just because that part bothers me, I think is the reason why I knocked it down to number 2. But it is a spectacular film. It is well worth the watch. There's lots of very well-rounded characters in this movie with complex motivations and complex interactions, and is really, really good. Number 1.
Number 1 for me, you just mentioned it, V for Vendetta.
Yep.
This movie is just stunning to me, and the way it presents an ideology, a political movement. The character, like you said, is just so well realized for a character that you never see his face. I don't think I've ever been more impressed by someone who I could only hear their voice playing a character. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to the writing for that, because you can't deliver great lines if you don't have great lines to deliver. So I think top to bottom, the people who created this movie, it took everyone to make the movie that ended up being made. And I could watch this movie probably every day. It's so good. It's probably like, it's got to be on my top three or four movies if someone has never seen it to tell them we're watching this right
Mm.
now. Because I think it's a movie everybody should see.
I don't remember if I saw this with you in IMAX or if I saw it with someone else in IMAX, but there's a lot of shots very close up on these very not attractive English men's faces.
Yeah.
And you put that in IMAX like 30, 40 feet tall. It's too close. It's too close on some of these guys' faces. But other than yeah, I got no issue with that being number one for you. No.
All right, and yours?
Batman Begins. And my deference to Christopher Nolan probably weighs out in some of this, partially because as you were saying, we don't get the Dark Knight without getting Batman Begins. We also don't get the Prestige, and we don't get Inception if we didn't get Batman Begins. And this is the movie that launched Nolan, and nobody else has done it better since. And even that this would probably be the number two of the three films in terms of the quality, there's still an intriguing element about it. How he gave it a sense of realism. What strikes me about this one is, to me, it feels so much more intimate than The Dark Knight does. It feels smaller in terms of, you look at the framing of each individual shot. There's less expansiveness. Whereas you get to The Dark Knight, you get these big giant cityscapes, you get these big massive sets. And in the Dark Knight, in Batman Begins, he's really focused and really tight in on the character of Batman and the people he's interacting with. Shots are tighter, the shots are closer. You're seeing more about the interactions of the characters than you are the grander world, which is perfectly appropriate for a relaunch film. Interestingly enough, the iceberg that he visited, the glacier, that's the right term, the glacier he visited for the Batman Begins is the exact glacier he returned to for Interstellar and shoot the planet scenes, the snow planet scenes on Interstellar. He shot that same exact glacier in Batman Begins. So very solid film. One of the best comic book movies ever, even if it was dwarfed by his later one in The Dark Knight. A lot of it's there, and all of the character and world building that he created in Batman Begins is amazing. All right. Well, that is the best movies from 2005. And we'll close out today with our watch list, movies we've watched over the last week. Rob, what'd you watch?
So, like I said, I saw 3 movies in the theater. I saw Megan 2.0. Don't see Megan 2.0. Is a movie that could not figure out what it was and never got there, and just seemed to add layers of confusion to itself the more and more it went on, and it did not succeed. And there's a reason why it has flamed out at the box office, which is disappointing because I thought the first one was quite good. Not great, but very good. This was not at that level. I saw F1, and I said before that I saw it that I was wondering, like, how much realism would there be in this? How much detail would there be? And there's quite a bit, actually, and I don't think they dumbed it down, which I liked. A couple really cool things about it are that they filmed on all of the real tracks on the same weekends that they had the races, so you've actually got like racing happening on the actual tracks, which is just really cool thing. And all the real drivers are in it too, at different points. The interaction between Brad Pitt's character and the younger driver it's a cool story. I just like they at times are frustrated with each other, angry at each other, and then they're pulling for each other, and they end up both pulling for each other in different ways. The different techniques used to record the driving are the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
There are some just really cool scenes of driving. In fact, there's one race that Brad Pitt's in that the whole last lap you're like you're at like track level in the front of his car, just seeing the track pass by you, like you're sitting on the front of his car,
Yeah.
and it's just such a cool, unique view. And the thing that I said to my friend uh, Keith, who's a giant Formula One fan, the thing that the movie probably did best was that they were able to convey the sense that every Formula One race is like the Super Bowl, because for whatever area you're in, it's the biggest sporting event in that city on that day, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Because there's a great line. Did you see this yet?
I did. Yeah.
So there's a great line in the movie early on that sums it up to me. When Javier Bardem's character says to Brad Pitt's character, "For this is the only sport where for one day you know that you are the best in the world." Because Formula One racing is the absolute best automotive racing circuit, and if you win that race on that day, you are the best auto driver in the entire world.
Yeah.
And I don't, and there's like no one would even question it if you're a part of a different circuit. So it's just kind of really cool. I thought they did a really good job of portraying that,
Yeah.
the expansiveness of what it means. Then I also saw 28 years later. This movie is a trip.
It looks like
This movie is chaotic. The sound design is chaotic. Some of the visual choices are strange to I don't know if they're strange or brilliant. There's several scenes where like someone gets shot and they show the like bullet or arrow hitting the person and then immediately snaps like to a side view of it, like as it's happening. It's like tish, tish, like almost like a stop motion kind of thing. But he does it several times, and it's a really different, cool effect that I haven't really seen done before. There's several scenes where there will be a sound or song playing in the background, and then it will fade into something that's happening in the next scene. Like that's in a completely different place. So like the sound design was really inspired, I thought, and it did a good job of carrying on the story. And if you don't know, this is only part one of 3 for 28 years later. The second one is actually already filmed, and it comes out at the beginning of 2026. It's called The Bone Temple. So 28 years later is actually a 3-part movie series, and this one has clearly done well enough to justify them continuing the series. Also, side note, Ralph Fiennes is amazing in this movie, and I'm getting to realize that he's pretty much amazing in everything, and he's just an amazing actor.
Yes, he really is.
He just seems to get better the older he gets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would highly recommend 28 Years Later and F1 if you want to see good movies and those are the genres you're interested in.
Yeah, I saw F1 as well, and I enjoyed it. It's getting some criticism for having supposedly not complex storyline, but I thought the storyline was perfectly fine. I mean, it's not groundbreaking or earth shattering. It's kind of what you would expect from the storyline, but I don't think that's necessarily a negative in this case. It's a movie that showcases the sport and showcases the sport very well. I think what comes out immensely is the authenticity with which they filmed everything and the feel of it. It feels authentic. They're using real drivers. They're using real cars. They're showing you tracks, actual experiences, actual events. Like you feel the sense of authenticity. And I think one of the things that sticks out in this is it feels high end. You know, they really do a great job of showing you how lucrative this stuff is and how expensive it is. Like this is the luxury of the racing world. And and I thought that was well conveyed in terms of like you look at their like headquarters or their setups, you know, their inventory, their labs they have to test their cars. all of that stuff feels like, oh my goodness, like this stuff costs a ton.
Yeah.
Like you get the full sense of all of the money that goes into this, and how, and with that coming the immense pressure of being able to succeed under that weight. It really does stand out. So I think more than anything else, like the cool cinematography, but the authenticity with which you get the experience really makes a difference in this film. Um, Citing Christopher Nolan, like you can tell when Christopher Nolan does stunts for real, how much difference that makes. And it's kind of the same effect here with the F1 movie, as you can tell the lengths they went to in order to make this film feel real.
Hmm.
You got anything else?
I do not.
All right. Well, that is the show, everyone. Thanks for checking out Film for Fans. Make sure you visit filmforfans.com, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Until next time, enjoy the movies.